In a stunning twist that has sent shockwaves through Washington, Senator Mark Kelly, a decorated veteran, former astronaut and sitting U.S. Senator, now finds himself at the center of a Pentagon investigation. The controversy erupted after Kelly, along with 5 other Democratic lawmakers, appeared in a video that has sparked heated debate across the country. In the video, the lawmakers reminded U.S. service members of their solemn right and duty to refuse illegal orders, an act intended to reinforce the core values enshrined in the Constitution. Their message was clear. Loyalty to the law and the nation must come before any individual or political leader. The Pentagon's response was immediate and severe. Officials launched a formal review and even raised the extraordinary possibility of recalling Senator Kelly to active duty for a potential court-martial, an unprecedented move in modern American history. This dramatic escalation blurs the already thin line between military justice and political speech, raising urgent questions about the rights and responsibilities of retired officers who serve in public office. It also challenges the boundaries of free speech for elected officials, especially those with military backgrounds. The Pentagon argues that such public statements could undermine military discipline and morale, potentially sowing confusion within the ranks. Meanwhile, Sawyer studies in Nalmberans, so is in Denigwikes, on a so is in Galmbro, Bites in Dauber Sprowns. Polish authorities insist they are upholding the law, acting as a crucial check on possible abuses of power at the highest levels. The controversy is unfolding against a backdrop of fierce political polarization, with the nation deeply divided over the scope of executive authority and the role of dissent in a democracy. Former President Trump's accusation of sedition against the lawmakers has only intensified the uproar, fueling partisan tensions and dominating headlines nationwide. As the Pentagon's investigation proceeds, Americans are left grappling with profound questions about the boundaries between military obedience, political dissent, and the very fabric of American democracy. The outcome could set a precedent for generations to come. The stakes in this showdown extend far beyond the fate of one senator. They cut to the heart of civilian control over the military, the meaning of constitutional duty, and the future of democratic norms in the United States. To fully grasp the Pentagon's case against Senator Kelly, it's essential to understand the Uniform Code of Military Justice, or UCMJ. The UCMJ is the foundation of military law in the United States, governing the conduct of service members and ensuring discipline within the ranks. What many people don't realize is that the UCMJ applies not only to active duty personnel, but also to retired officers, like Senator Kelly, who continue to receive military pay and benefits. Even after leaving active service, these retirees remain subject to military law, a fact that often surprises civilians and even some veterans. This means that, in rare but significant cases, retirees can be recalled to active duty for the purpose of facing a court-martial. This is especially true if they are accused of actions that could undermine military loyalty, discipline, or the reputation of the armed forces. The Pentagon is relying on statutes that prohibit conduct which discredits the military or disrupts good order and discipline. Officials argue that Kelly's recent video statements crossed a critical line, potentially eroding trust in the military's leadership and structure. Legal precedents, such as United States versus Dinger and United States versus Larrabee, have confirmed that military retirees remain under the jurisdiction of the UCMJ, even years after their active service has ended. While these landmark cases involved serious criminal offenses, they established the legal groundwork that now underpins the Pentagon's current actions against Kelly. They show that the military justice system can reach into retirement when the stakes are high. The Pentagon maintains that military orders are presumed lawful and must be obeyed without hesitation, underscoring the importance of an unbroken chain of command. This principle is seen as vital to the functioning and integrity of the armed forces. According to Pentagon officials, Kelly's message threatens this foundational principle, risking confusion and even chaos within the ranks if left unaddressed. The legal authority for this action is clear, but its use, in such a politically charged context, is almost unprecedented, raising questions about the boundaries between military discipline and free speech. Ultimately, the Pentagon's move is about more than just enforcing discipline. It's about setting a precedent for how far military law can reach, even after an officer's active service has ended. The controversy erupted after Senator Kelly and 5 colleagues posted a video aimed at U.S. troops and intelligence personnel, Their message: you can refuse illegal orders, a principle rooted in military law and the oath to the Constitution. The timing was fraught, with debates raging over the military's role in domestic affairs. Kelly and his allies framed their statement as support for troops facing ethical dilemmas, not as a call for insubordination. The Pentagon, however, saw the video, especially Kelly's use of his rank, as an attempt to undermine the chain of command. Officials argued it could be interpreted as encouragement to disobey current leadership. Kelly responded defiantly, declaring he would not be silenced or intimidated for doing his job. He cast the investigation as a political attack on congressional oversight. The stage was set for a high-stakes battle over speech, authority, and accountability. The Pentagon's decision to launch an investigation into a sitting senator marks a moment without precedent in modern American history. This move signals a dramatic escalation in the ongoing tensions between the military and elected officials, drawing national attention and sparking heated debate. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth publicly announced the possibility of recalling Senator Mark Kelly for disciplinary action under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, including the rare and serious step of a court-martial. Even the threat of such action sends a chilling message to other retired officers who might consider voicing public criticism, raising concerns about freedom of expression within the military community. Kelly is uniquely vulnerable in this situation because, as a retired officer now serving in the Senate, he remains the only individual in the spotlight still subject to the UCMJ's reach. The Pentagon insists it is simply upholding consistent enforcement of military law, emphasizing that no one is above the rules, regardless of their current position. However, critics warn that this move represents a dangerous politicization of the armed forces, blurring the lines between military discipline and political retribution. Legal scholars argue that targeting a senator for political speech could set a troubling precedent, risking the erosion of the military's long-standing nonpartisan tradition and undermining democratic norms. Such a move could deter both retired and active-duty personnel from raising legitimate concerns, fearing potential retaliation or legal consequences. The military's political standing, a cornerstone of American democracy, is now at stake, as is the fundamental right of lawmakers to speak freely and represent their constituents without fear. The outcome of this unprecedented case could ultimately reshape the boundaries between military discipline and democratic debate for years to come. Former President Trump inflamed the situation, labeling Kelly's actions seditious and calling for the harshest penalties. This rhetoric reframed the dispute as a test of national loyalty, not just legality. Kelly, appearing on national television, refused to back down, insisting his duty is to hold the executive branch accountable. The White House sided with the Pentagon, accusing Kelly of trying to intimidate service members rather than empower them. The administration's stance aligns with the Pentagon's, deepening the partisan divide. For Trump and his allies, Kelly's message is subversive. For Kelly and his supporters, it's patriotic oversight. The two sides are locked in a battle over the meaning of loyalty, duty, and the rule of law. The controversy has become a proxy war for deeper political and constitutional conflicts. The stakes are nothing less than the boundaries of dissent in American democracy. The idea of recalling a sitting senator for court-martial is unprecedented and could trigger a constitutional crisis. The speech or debate clause protects lawmakers from prosecution for legislative acts. Kelly's lawyers would argue the video falls under this protection. Forcing a senator before a military tribunal would upend the separation of powers and threaten congressional independence. The Senate would likely see this as an assault on its authority, setting up a showdown with the executive branch. Legal experts are divided. Does the UCMJ's reach over retirees override a senator's constitutional protections? The courts would have to balance military discipline against legislative independence. The mere possibility of this conflict is a sign of the extraordinary political pressures of our era. The outcome could redefine the limits of military and congressional power. This is a stress test for American democracy itself. Supporters of the Pentagon's investigation call Kelly's actions seditious, arguing that unity and discipline are paramount in times of crisis. They say public statements like Kelly's encourage chaos and abuse his retired status. Kelly's defenders counter that reminding troops of their legal obligations is not just legal, it's a constitutional duty. They invoke the Nuremberg principles. Just following orders is no defense for illegal acts. For them, Kelly's speech is protected by the First Amendment and essential to democratic oversight. The Pentagon's investigation, they argue, is a political attempt to silence dissent. The real loyalty, they say, is to the Constitution, not to any leader or order. The debate is about whether upholding the law is insubordination or the highest form of service. This case is a vivid example of law and politics colliding. The legal question, can a retired officer who's now a senator be disciplined for public speech, is inseparable from its political context. The Pentagon's investigation was launched by a politically appointed leadership, targeting a senator from the opposition. Trump's accusations of sedition and the White House's support for the Pentagon have turned the dispute into a partisan flashpoint. Both sides use legal language to advance political goals. Discipline versus oversight, order versus free speech. A court ruling may not resolve the underlying political conflict. The law is now a weapon in a broader struggle for power and public opinion. The outcome may hinge less on legal precedent than on political will. In Washington, law and politics are often two sides of the same coin. The Kelly-Pentagon showdown is more than a political spectacle. It's a test of American democracy. At stake is the principle of civilian control over the military and the right of veterans to speak out as citizens and lawmakers. If court-martial threats silence dissent, the national debate and democratic accountability suffer. Service members are caught between messages of obedience and reminders of their duty to refuse illegal orders. The health of the all-volunteer force depends on clarity, trust, and the rule of law. This conflict forces Americans to reconsider the balance between discipline and free speech. The resolution will signal the strength of our institutions and the enduring power of constitutional principles. In the end, it's a question of whether loyalty to the Constitution remains the highest duty for all.